I think it's going to be really productive, like coherent, you know, conversation about this move. So what did you guys think?
Fucking terrible! I
mean, why the fuck would Phasma is in it, but she's not in it? I never like thought about it.
Symbols are supposed to
Hey, what's up, guys? Now, nobody likes commercials, so I'm going to keep this one really brief. If any of you decide to become patrons of the channel, you get exclusive content that is available nowhere else. You get links to our bad movie nights in which we watch really bad movies, and we have a great time doing them. Also, on top of that, we have an additional 20 minutes of this discussion about The Last Jedi that we're making exclusive to our patrons. Follow the link below, give us a little bit of support, and you can check out all of this stuff that nobody else gets to see. All right, now let's do the review.
What's up, everybody? It's me, Sean Tank Top. We are over here as requested by anonymous people on the internet. We are going to get together and we're going to talk about Lady Bird, right? We're doing a Lady Bird discussion?
I think so.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. No. We're actually going to be doing a discussion about Star Wars The Last Jedi. It's a little independent feature. I don't know if you guys have heard about it. I think it's going to do pretty well during like award season. You know what I mean? Like
I couldn't find any theaters that would even play it. All the way out to the suburbs.
You're waiting for it to show up on demand.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Redbox.
Was this movie good?
Not enough nudity for me.
Not enough nudity? Not enough space tits?
There were 4, which is 4 more than I thought I was going to get.
That's true.
But was this movie any good? What did you guys think?
Yeah, I thought it was great.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I need to see it more, but yeah.
Max is the unfortunate person who is only one time. Only seen it once.
Please donate.
Saw it opening night. Sean and I saw it again last night. Yeah. Holds up.
Supremely enjoyable film.
Yeah.
I think flawed in a lot of ways, but I think a very enjoyable, fun film.
Right. I'm with you on that. Yeah. It's a big, impressive, messy.
A little messy.
Like type of like picture. It's like really like it's very cinematically literate, and it's really like, and it seems probably the most personal Star Wars movie that I can think of insofar as like a writer-director type of standpoint. Which
I think it's also a movie that the messiness really clears up the more you see it. I've seen it 3 times now. The problems, Well, I saw a press screening earlier in the week, and then sorry,
that was a time where I was just like, I'm not gonna talk about it.
We can't talk to Lindsay. Ignore Lindsay for like 3 days. Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. Just like I've kind of gone through the stages of it already, and by the 3rd time, every problem I had with it is almost completely gone. It starts to make sense in ways. The things that felt like they didn't fit the first time just start to kind of crystallize the more you watch it. So that's been the most impressive thing for me. And I've seen that chatter line with a lot of people saying like the more they watch it, the more they really
I felt the exact same way, because the first time I saw it, the biggest problem I had was just some of the comedy beats just felt really like ham-fisted and just thrown in, not really letting the crowd marinate on any information that was just given to us. But the second time I saw it, I was like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
Or it's sort of like that always happens kind of like when it's a movie that has this kind of amount of anticipation that you know you're kind of you're given that splash of cold water of just like you are watching some new shit and you know it feels like you gotta marinate it in a little bit.
It does, yeah. Even the comedy stuff, we're going full spoilers, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Whoa.
It's like I don't want to say that. But even some of the comedy
If you haven't seen it yet, fuck you.
I don't know if we were doing like a spoiler-free thing first.
As far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like Game of Thrones rules. It's just like you just gotta stay off the internet if you haven't seen it.
Right.
Yes.
Well, and plus you preface everything with a spoilers tag on it, so it's like
don't do that for this.
Oh my god.
Talk about it, But even some of the comedy stuff, the first time I didn't quite notice, like the opening with Hux and Poe when they're kind of bickering, and it seems to go on for a long time. You realize that he's stalling. That's why he keeps going. I didn't really catch that the first time, so it felt like overlong the first time. The second time I was like, oh, he's just being a dick because he needs to like distract.
Like, what do you think of this movie as a whole?
As a whole, after seeing it a few times and kind of digesting it, I think it's my favorite Star Wars movie, honestly. And I think it's a Star Wars movie that is a perfect sequel because it improves upon and it, makes the themes of the earlier films deeper and more interesting. which I think all sequels should do. And just personally, I just enjoyed it in a way that I haven't really enjoyed a Star Wars movie. It kind of nudged at different things that I look for in movies. So that's a total personal thing. I don't know that I think it's actually the best made, but it's my favorite.
Right.
Yeah.
An analogy I've been kind of chewing over the last couple days since I've seen it is like, if the Star Wars movies are like, let's say that they're all kids, all part of the same family.
Okay.
Last Jedi is the youngest of the 8, and it's just a young kid trying to get your attention in the corner, doing really weird and sometimes amazing things to get your attention.
Right.
I think it was probably the most bizarre of all the Star Wars movies. That I like the change of, some of the change of humor. I think Rian Johnson, low-key, is a huge Battlestar Galactica fan because they crammed about 6 direct plot lines from Battlestar Galactica just into the Poe Dameron running away fleet subplot.
Right.
Was like half a season of Battlestar Galactica.
Or Star Wars Fury Road.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
A very slow version of Fury Road.
Right.
But I think it's got a quirkiness to it that the other movies might not have. I think it's got kind of like a setup punch kind of formula that the other ones don't have. Like every action sequence in this film that I can remember is, I think it's like 80% what you're used to, and then it will just end fucking crazy.
Right.
Like the ship going through the massive command carrier,
that was a game changer.
looking like a Pink Floyd album, just like and polygraph of just like emotions, like just in that 2 minutes of Leia getting blown out of her own ship. I'm like, no, they fucking didn't.
Right.
They did not just do that.
No, I remember that was one where I was like frozen.
And then
It's like, they solved the Carrie Fisher problem.
Right.
and in a very I was like, that's gratuitous. Why would they do that?
Yeah,
and then
it seemed really cold.
and then you find out
She was literally cold.
and then you find out that she's a Force master.
Wizard.
She can do shit.
And she's blinks the time sweeper. She could just hit the rewind button and just go back. God, no one's gonna get that right.
So I really enjoyed the film. I thought it was emotionally powerful. I gasped and I laughed and I choked up a lot. I think that it is a film that loves Star Wars without necessarily being too reverent towards the material that came before it, which I think a lot of people, including myself, were challenged by. All that praise put on the film, and I know that I'm probably going to be like the Debbie Downer, maybe out of the 5 of us.
That's okay.
I think that there are some really serious missed opportunities and some structural and pacing issues with the film that I just... It's just strange to me. It feels like Rian Johnson was really willing to make an artist film in making this, and he missed a lot of things that I don't know how you could have made some of the decisions that he made. There are so many ways to make this already very long film both shorter and better.
Probably my second favorite after what most people consider the best, Episode 1. Empire. Yeah, I actually don't really have a whole lot on this. I saw it, I straight up cried multiple times. Just I like the character development is incredibly solid. The pacing works, but like you could easily cut out probably about 30 to 45 minutes. Like we didn't need Space Monaco. It really was just like that was a plot line that was just to give Finn and Rose something to do.
Yep. Sure.
And I loved Benicio del Toro's glorified cameo.
Whenever he's doing anything.
Exactly.
It did feel like kind of like Gandalf's side quest in Hobbit. Like,
Well,
Gandalf's got to go somewhere. Let's,
They're complaining about the humor in this movie. Which it didn't bother me that much. It certainly is on par with like The Force Awakens, which like The Force Awakens, it's like jokes everywhere, jokes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I will say that sometimes they throw a little bit of cold water on some moments that like maybe would have held a little bit more resonance. Like
I think chuckles can work if you throw them in like situationally. I thought I chuckled when when Rey and Kylo are shining each other. Yeah. And she's just like, dude, can you put a shirt on?
That was funny. That was funny.
I love that. And Adam Driver deserves a lot of credit Because I feel like Kylo Ren as a character would be really hard to put your name next to if you were already an established actor. It's a great character. He does a good job with it.
Yeah,
but that would be
you got everybody of the new characters, with the exception of maybe like Oscar Isaacs. I think it benefits greatly that these guys have been plucked from, you know, they're very new,
relative obscure,
relative, perhaps.
relative.
Most of the comedic beats, like of course, I noticed all of them the first time I saw it. The second time, I didn't really notice any of them like sticking out in the scene that they were in as unnecessary, aside from like the porgs at the very end. And
I do.
That was the only upon second viewing, it was
one of them would have been fine. And then they did
kept
like
going
3 or
with
4.
it.
And it was like it was a microcosm of what I thought was going to happen, but they didn't go there.
And it still
the
didn't bother me.
I was too distracted in that scene because the asteroid field music from Empire
Yeah.
kicks in, and I was like so excited. Yeah.
The roasted porg prop that Chewbacca had is the most fake-looking thing.
That was like a very.
Like if we were talking about smoked duck, like right before we saw the movie.
The roast porg will be a Funko Pop. And like,
Leia, you know, gets shot out, which I was fucking shocked by, and then I'm just like, oh my god, are they just like doing this thing? Like, are they just gonna just very callously kill her off? And then she does the Mary Poppins bit. What did we think about that?
the first time I saw it, I was really distracted by it and thought it was goofy. The second time I was kind of into it. I was like, cool, Leia's a space wizard. That's fine.
Okay, right.
Well, they've been hinting at her being force sensitive since the original trilogy.
We
And I'd love to see it was manifested. My issue with that scene is it's a big fuck you to Admiral Akbar, who just gone. Everyone's favorite space squid.
I'm going to be the killjoy here. And I'm going to say the Mary Poppins scene is without a doubt the lowest point of the entire movie.
Really?
It's disappointing not only from all of a sudden Leia manifests magical force powers or whatever, but it's also plot and structurally very bizarre.
It was bizarre.
It
was fucking bizarre.
Yeah.
I talked to Jenny about this when we were walking out. My first comment about the character of Commander Holdo, or Holda, or whatever it is.
Ellie from Jurassic Park.
Right, is that her name should be Commander Placeholder. Because she literally steps into the shoes of what Leia should be doing for the entire film. And I wonder if that's because she died. I know that she died during post-production or whatever, but it feels like that moment where she Mary Poppins it doesn't pay off. It kind of distracts from what has made her character so great.
Right.
In the past, she's always been a hero because she doesn't take no guff from nobody. She's brave, she's resilient, and she's sharp-witted. And to shoehorn in magical force powers that make her largely indistinguishable from the rest of the Star Wars universe at the last moment with no other reference to them that matters feels cheap.
Do you
and I
think
did not
it's
enjoy it.
full shoehorn, or do you think would you not at least acknowledge that there is a precedent? Because it's a thing people have talked about for 30 years now. Ever since we found out she was a Skywalker, there have been discussions and novels and you know.
I'm gonna be a little moral purist for a moment. I would say that the Force is defined very capaciously in the Star Wars universe. It's a way of understanding excellence, thank you. It's a way of understanding just a greater ability in various different ways.
Everything you just said about that is wrong.
But that's kind of what I'm talking about, is that Luke cuts her off and says the Force is not moving things. It's not the ability to have powers or do things.
Cut to Leia, like, cartwheeling.
And that's what I was frustrated with, is like, Leia was like Yoda, in the sense that you suspected that she had Force abilities, but they didn't manifest them with magical
Yoda.
Now she's stupid prequel Yoda, and I don't like that. Just like when Yoda picks up a lightsaber, your respect for him in the Star Wars context just plummets, right? And that's how I felt with Leia forcing herself literally back into.
Kind of, in a way, ties in though to the thing that I've always liked about Leia is that there's hints that she's force sensitive, but she doesn't use it to be a better,
fighter,
commander or whatever. Which I know some people that might be a sticking point, but it kind of goes into what Luke says about, the force. When you're over showy with it, it's kind of your hubris, and I feel like she's kind of tamed herself so that she's not just using it as ways that
abuse
matter,
of the Force,
but she uses it to save herself.
Lead to the dark side in this situation.
I honestly didn't really mind it. It was kind of goofy.
I think it looks
It was a microcosm of this movie where it was
it's the
kind of it was sort of touching in a way.
Yeah.
It was sort of It was bizarre. It was weird.
Very strange.
Yeah, it was.
I will say though, as not to like play the gender card, but seeing like a woman have a really cool badass Force moment like that.
Sure, absolutely.
Boys get all their
No,
fucking
I like. I was
Rose roll.
Yeah.
right.
So it's kind of a cool, powerful.
No,
moment.
but I was saying, but like ultimately about this movie is that like it's a wee bit. It's kind of problematic. It's a little funky, but I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Am I being super basic?
Is she the most problematic character? Yeah. How so?
Insofar as she doesn't need to be there. So that's actually one of the things that upon rewatch crystallized a lot more for me. I thought, and this is kind of going into the Canto Bight stuff too, but I thought if there was one thing that could be trimmed, it was that whole
snip.
We can't have Finn talking to himself the whole movie.
Well, I still don't disagree with that, but I think Rose is there to motivate Finn to finally make the choice to join the rebellion full force, but also her message kind of ties into Rey's and the final scene, which is this idea that heroes are from not just the front of the military line. I don't know that it's executed perfectly, I will say. But
I thought her sister was probably a better developed character than she was.
I loved it.
Her sister was a fucking G.
Why do they use these clunky giant bombers when they have Y-wings?
Because it's World War II.
Yeah,
it was just alternative.
Oh my God.
Yeah, right.
Curious about alternative version of the Rose's sister thing, because I thought they could have done this a little differently, and it would have played into the final shot of the movie. Is like, what if we see Rose's sister and she's struggling to get that thing down, and she straight up force pulls it down, and then beep, because it's not all fucking Skywalkers. And I think this movie, especially with I think it would have made more sense than the kid with the broom. She dies, and none of the characters ever know that she had the Force. You know, it wouldn't have affected the story at all.
I'm glad they didn't kill her though, because that would have been fridging. I don't know if people are familiar with that term, but it's
the
like
Gail Simone.
It's this idea of like bringing a woman character in there to motivate a male arc and then just killing her. Yeah,
that doesn't exist in media.
Oh yeah, right. Watch like a lot of the others.
That's actually the name of my new metal band is Women in Fridges.
Women in Fridges.
It's my main thing where it's just like. It's a little clunky, it's a little whatever, but I'm fine
I will say the thing I didn't like, it doesn't take me out of it or ruin it, but I really don't like that she kissed Finn at the end. That kind of pissed me off.
No, I don't think anybody does.
I mean, it's cute, it's fine, and whatever,
it
but
seemed like
it earned.
Yeah, it wasn't really
They're
earned.
so afraid of sex in this fucking...
There's so many hugs in this movie.
It was a very... It was like a very awkward kind of peck where it was like...
Yeah. And it seemed like he was kind of like, what? Like, I don't feel that there was much romantic tension. And
it felt disrespectful to this character that they barely defined.
Right.
Weird. One of the biggest plot and structural issues with the film is its inability to address the relationship between Finn and Rey from the previous film.
Right.
You'll remember that Finn wakes up and the only thing he thinks about is Rey, right? And then it is completely ignored.
It's still feeling my vibe.
No, I don't think that's true, because remember he almost... leaves the whole base.
Well, that's why he dips in the first place.
To save her, and she comes back in.
I don't see the payoff with
and
Rey.
Rose ruined it.
Ray like literally
there was no
to address him at the end of the film.
I don't think she gives a shit about him that way.
I know, but like that's weird.
I think she's all hot for Kylo.
So then they roll out.
Chicks always going for the bad boys.
They decide they're gonna go to this. They decided they're gonna fucking do like this. We got this side mission. Holdo shows up. What did you guys think about her? I didn't dislike her. I don't know if she needed to be there.
I think she did.
I liked it.
I thought she was going to be a traitor.
Yes.
Military 101. Military chain of command 101. If you don't tell your officers what your fucking plan is, don't be surprised when they mutiny against you.
Right.
That's just some basic shit you should know if you're a general.
There's a thing where they could say like, well, he's kind of going a little rogue. He's a bit of a hothead. He's going crazy. So,
but to just not even like tell the officers and your like what your plan is, that's just bad strategy.
Right.
So
that's just
Laura Dern
played to dramatic effects.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you guys see Big Little Lies?
Yes.
Okay. I loved that film that show.
Right.
I thought it was excellent. I thought Laura Dern was excellent in it. You know, I was really pumped for.
She had a good fucking year, man.
Yeah. I was pumped for
Twin
this
Peaks.
character.
This shit, like.
It's just it's a paper thin character who has a very simple moral lesson, is completely plot irrelevant, and then ends up making me feel like very awkward when she shows up on the screen every time that she's there, because I feel like she is a stand-in for Princess Leia.
Really?
I want to know now how, like, is purple hair a thing? Like,
Well, okay.
I like that she
Always has
campy.
been for
I
me.
like that she was like, yeah.
I have
She
a
got on
couple
that
things to say about
pastel
that.
train. She's on Instagram, like with that shit. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think she's plot irrelevant, because I think what she exists to do is to teach Poe to respect.
But that was the same lesson that Leia was teaching.
I don't disagree with that. I just think that he has to kind of learn through two different women.
Oh, interesting.
There is kind of a gender thing there. Again, not to be an SJW about it, but
Gross.
yeah. But I think he has to learn this lesson that just because someone is, you know, a commanding, not even just woman, but a commanding presence that is trying to be level-headed about it, that
We just whispered about this. Like, I thought she was going to be a traitor.
Yes, that would have been
did
incredible.
too, and that's what I
that?
loved,
Yes.
that she wasn't.
So-
I knew she wouldn't, though. I read
her
the
fucking
book.
fight.
Have you read any of the? I read
I haven't read the new EU stuff.
I read
I'm mainly
the.
just
There's a
watching-
tie-in book
Get out.
with Holdo and Leia as like childhood
Yeah.
best friends. So I knew.
Are they homies?
Oh,
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
homies?
yeah.
Okay.
And so I knew she
Shit.
They
probably
give
was gonna betray
like
her.
a throwaway line. At the
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, so that introduces nepotism into the plot.
We get to Space Monaco,
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
which
I love that I've
which
coined
I
this.
didn't dislike. Could have maybe been more efficient.
Yeah.
It was very
Could have just
like it
not
had like this
existed.
really like deco 1920s vampy like type of feel about it. There is a shot in the casino that is taken directly from this
Wings.
silent
Yeah.
film from 1927 called Wings,
The
where it's
first
just
film
going
ever win
over
an
these
Oscar.
tables
Yeah,
and
that's
shit.
awesome.
And
Yeah.
this is I don't know. It's the most cinematically literate
Absolutely.
of the Star Wars movies.
Interesting.
And it's the most
Like
obvious.
insofar as like it's formal.
Yeah.
Like it's like they're fucking with the like when Holdo like crashes the ship and
Yeah.
fucking shatters everything
Yeah.
and it goes completely silent.
Yeah.
I loved that.
Yeah,
I thought
same.
that was really cool. It's like
Highlight of the film.
yeah.
Yeah. Ryan
like-
Johnson is like, I don't know if any of you follow him on Twitter. He is a film person.
Oh
Like,
fuck yeah! No.
it's
We
so-
I love Brick
this
and
is the
Looper.
first. Right. Well, this is the first
person.
Right.
He's a
This is
cinephile.
this is the first Star Wars movie that was directed by a guy who has an extensive bulk of Criterion collection
Right.
in his house.
Yeah.
Like he is a film fucking nerd, and like so. The Space Monaco shit was cool. I like the fucking I like the cat horses.
Oh my god.
Like those
I
things
liked
were,
them.
I liked them.
I
Oh,
want. I
wow.
want one.
I liked how great they were, cute and they were
Man,
fun.
I'm
No?
Debbie Downer today. So Space Monaco was fine, and from a plot perspective, we'll get to the fact that they don't pay off the fact that they get the Codebreaker, but whatever. Space Monaco looks cool, and it's fun to be there.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
And there's a moral lesson that you kind of learn
Yeah.
where Rose is like, they don't care about the little people, and the film's kind of about the little people.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
I get
That's
And then
that.
there's
Star Wars.
literal
Star Wars is
little,
about
little people.
Right.
Yeah.
The snip moment there is when they talk to the space dog cat racy things, because that opens up another moral thread
True.
that never pays off about animal abuse, right? And it also convolutes the story of why they're on the planet. Right? They come there to get the code breaker, but then it becomes about freeing animals, and they just incidentally get the code breaker, and that doesn't make
Oh,
sense.
right.
They didn't have to
Yeah,
struggle
yeah.
for it.
No.
It chose
Right,
to join
yeah.
them.
I actually
really
like,
good
it's like
Out of all those prison cells, he's in the same one that they're in.
Well,
No,
yeah.
he's not the codebreaker that they were looking for, though. That's the thing.
These are not the
These
code
are not.
Not-
Damn
This
it!
is not the code breaker that you
He's not Justin.
Son of a bitch!
Yeah.
snatched it away.
I guess what I'm trying to say
No,
is
I
that
I
they
actually
focused
agree.
their attention.
Well,
on
it's like
that.
they should have still grabbed him, gotten onto the fucking cat horses, and then just went to the ship and escaped.
Low key behind. I wouldn't be surprised if
Loki
behind,
wasn't in this movie.
If behind closed doors we find out that maybe like Disney tried to buy Pokemon and Pokemon wasn't into it, and so they're like, fine, we're gonna make.
It did look like a
We're gonna buy the other biggest
We're gonna make
franchise in
cat
the world.
dogs. We're gonna make.
Right, there's like, we're gonna get all the Pokemon. Oh, we don't have any Pokemon? Alright,
We'll
do
buy
it.
literally
like,
everything
can I
but
get an
Nintendo.
ugly alien, please? Like, can I please get
Right.
a disgusting plate of shit alien, like the old movies? Like, I don't want them to be adorable.
One that's literally a head on a stick.
All of them are cute. All of them.
No, I think those nuns on the island are pretty ugly.
They look-
I fucking adored this interpretation of the character. I thought it was easily the core of what makes the movie work. I thought it was a very interesting way to take the character, to disassemble a legend.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
I love Luke in this film. I want to piggyback on what you guys were talking about earlier about mysticism. So I loved in The Empire Strikes Back, you get about 2 paragraphs of Yoda spinning Taoist morality tales, right?
Yeah.
And it's the spiritual, moral, philosophical heart of all of the Star Wars universe.
It's really what gave Star Wars legs,
right?
The legs that it has.
It's really what binds it all together.
Right.
The spaces between and.
So my question for Lindsay and Max, because that is kind of what you identified as what makes Star Wars for you. In this film, Luke instructs Rey in a very similar way to Yoda in terms of making philosophical or moral observations about the world and how we interact with it. What were your thoughts on that?
You can go first.
And they were both.
Oh man! Off the bat, I will say that Luke was my favorite character in this film.
All right, solid.
Luke was my hands down my favorite character in this film. That shouldn't come as too much of a shock to anybody who knows me and knows how much I love Mark Hamill, but
the guy who gets drunk and does Joker impressions.
I've seen it.
Right.
My dear deluded Dark Knight. I was fully that was like the kind of tightrope act of my own expectations going in, where I was like, I love Mark Hamill a lot, so this could be terrible. Like I could be setting myself, setting myself up for something.
Your own hype could break the back of the film.
I had no doubt in his ability to do what I just was always. I was like, what if the script doesn't really match up with where he's at right now? You know, I was
the most interesting.
I was overanalyzing the fuck out of it before I even saw it.
But he's grizzled. He's jaded.
He's grizzled. He's jaded. He's I kind of don't really buy that one instance of, well, my nephew threw a building on me, I'm out. Like, you know,
he tried to kill his nephew.
Yeah, that
might have been
legit. I thought that was a fun.
Speak for yourself.
This movie kind of has its cake and eats it too a little bit, because everybody for like 30 years has entertained the "what if Luke goes dark" fantasy, and I love that this was the first Star Wars movie. I like that this movie actually gave us a he said, she said scenario.
I love that. Mystic teachings. I think that was one of the high points of the film for me.
Most interesting. Yeah,
it was for me too. Just the idea that when he said that he was, because when he first finds out that Han is dead, I was really surprised.
How the fuck don't you know that?
He didn't know that, but then when you find out he had disconnected himself from the Force, it's like, oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
And the idea that he's become kind of disillusioned with the Jedis as an institution. I've seen some people say that that's he already learns that in Empire, to kind of go his own way, but I think that's not entirely.
That was the most artful retconning of the prequels I think we could ever ask for.
What do you mean?
It's like when he's talking about his critique of the Jedi at the height of their power, they let themselves be understood. Really, it's a really. It makes those movies more interesting.
And
maybe not watchable, but maybe more interesting in theory.
The thing
it's the Clone Wars effect.
Really connected with me too is that he obviously still has respect for the Force when he's showing Rey, this is what it is. He's just kind of afraid of it too.
Right.
And I think because of obviously his experience and everything with it, so it's not that he thinks that it's not an important thing. He's still respectful of the history of it, but he's kind of closed off from it, knowing that the way that you choose to use it can really damage you.
I sincerely love the way that Luke framed what the Force was and articulated it to Rey as a character.
The Jedi don't own that.
But to us as the audience as well, because we have to set rules about what this is if we're going to tell a story around it. And the very simple Taoist way that they explain it enables so much, and it also allows us to explore our characters really well. I love that Rey in this film is flawed. As soon as she starts thinking about what the Force is, she starts thinking, how can I use it? How can I get what I want?
A very convincing path to the dark side kind of story.
Exactly.
I actually did. Well, multiple times where I thought she might turn, which really surprised me.
Well, there's an EU thing that's the Grey Jedi, and there's a fan theory of that she's the first Grey Jedi, and that she'll tap the power of the dark side, but without going to the dark side.
Trappings that's made.
I would argue that Luke is and has been our Grey Jedi for a long time. I think I look at him as being a Grey Jedi kind of even in Return of the Jedi. I mean, he straight up force chokes the Gamorrean. He's
wearing all black.
Using the light and the dark.
I feel like Luke in the Return of the Jedi is the guy who's coming back to his conservative rural town after a week at college.
He was such a he could not wait to just get back to Tatooine and kill something.
Right.
Right.
He's like,
No,
fuck
so then,
this
like,
place.
that shit was awesome. Like, he's drinking fucking blue milk out of space
Love it.
tits.
Green. It was
Wow, never thought I'd see that.
Right?
I love that they show the origin of the blue
You
milk.
think that,
It's green milk.
you think that like
It's
Ryan
green,
Johnson, it's like
green,
a little
green.
like it was literally like a drunken bat where he's like, "Hey guys, I'm gonna get tits into a Star Wars movie,
Yeah.
just you watch," and everybody's like bullshitting. He's like, "I'll bet you 10."
Well, they did that with Ula in Return of the Jedi.
Huh?
They did that with Ula, the Twi'lek dancer who gets eaten by the Rancor.
Oh,
She's got the
you
mesh-
sort of see-
Yeah, she's
But they're out and out tits, like they're
Fair.
right there. And, you know what I mean? Like
The thing that disturbed
So, okay,
me most about those guys.
J.J. Abrams, more tits.
more tits.
What disturbed me about those guys was that I couldn't tell. I'm like, are these
No, we gotta
are
get
these
into the next one. Now.
beasts of the land
We have
that he's
lightsabers.
subsisting off them? Because you don't know sometimes with these Star Wars aliens, are these beasts of the land that he's subsisting off of, or are these just dudes chilling on the beach and Luke's just like, don't mind if I do, like,
Right.
The beast turns to the camera and just goes, "It's a living."
yeah, yeah, right.
That's like such a
That's
good
what
movie
he
too. It's
read.
like
That's what he
Warner
read.
Brothers standard.
Right.
The Rey Kylo Ren
Skype
relationship,
Oh,
and it is a relationship.
another high point of the film.
Yeah.
Right?
I thought it was excellent.
I thought it was so. I was into it. I was totally down.
Don't
Put them on a boat together.
Right.
That was my favorite. Their connection was my favorite part of the movie, and the most surprising to me. 'Cause
Yes.
I don't know that I was really subscribed to like any parent theory, but there was still a part of me that was resisting like thinking of that as romantic in case they were related.
Well,
But
well, Star Wars dabbles.
right.
Star Wars.
Right.
Star Wars kinks
Star
around.
Wars dabbles. Yeah.
I loved it though. It was really surprising. There's a lot of sexual tension there.
Yes.
Yep.
And I think that's
Which I
really,
loved.
really good and really interesting.
Not trying to be a perv.
and kind of different.
I'm trying to be a perv.
Because that ends up guiding some of her, I think, some of her choices is this
It
sort
kind
of attraction
right,
to
right.
wanting
Yeah.
to save
And then,
him.
He becomes like the shitty, like, punk rocker boyfriend.
That you
He's
wanna
like-
save
it's like,
from being
you
an
guys
asshole.
don't know him like
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you know
exactly.
I can
Yeah.
change him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No,
little
it's
bit.
true though. That's exactly what it is, I think. And so that kind of blinds her a little bit from.
I think my favorite part of the Force visions, which I guess is what I'm going to describe, the connection
Yeah,
between Rey and Kylo.
Force FaceTime.
Force.
Force FaceTime.
Force time.
Force time. Right.
I love that they're both thrust into a new circumstance that's intimate between the two of them.
Yeah.
Very.
And they
You
react
have to
to
say
it very-
thrust.
I was trying to come up with a joke.
Right.
They both react to being thrust into this situation very differently. And one thing that I really loved is that Kylo Ren reacts to it instantly with curiosity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the spontaneous reactions they had whenever they would meet each other because it's
Right.
like hey, we have our antagonist and our protagonist,
Right.
and I like that they were both in the beginning like, well, this is awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is weird for both of us.
Could
you know,
you?
a good
Yeah,
char-
what if, like,
good
yeah.
character moment for
Thank
both,
God,
for
like,
both
yeah, I mean,
characters.
they almost do it like when he has his shirt off and like where it's like it came at a bad time.
Yeah.
Like,
I, also
Even-
never,
even-
I never expected him to be so ripped.
I'm
Oh,
still,
he's
I gotta
been
see
ripped.
the
He's
movie
been ripped
again.
in Girls, man. Like,
I had no idea.
Right?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I heard that Kylo Ren is shredded, guys. You know.
No. That's in
heard
that SNL thing.
Yeah,
It's like I heard he's got an 8-pack,
Yeah.
and also done very simply,
Yes.
like just with editing.
Right.
Oh,
Just
I
with-
love
with-
that
just
like you knew that like Rey was looking at Kylo, but it's just a frame of Rey in the hut.
Yeah.
And you know Kylo's looking at Rey, but it's just a
how
frame
they
of Kylo. and then,
how they block.
and then like
Yeah.
it kind of throws you for a loop a little bit when she does shit like shoot the wall.
Right.
You know, like oh fuck, like you know, it kind of like I like the playing
So
with the
this
perception.
is an exact, Max, that's an exemplification of what I would consider one of this film's greatest strengths, which is that Ryan Johnson is an excellent
It was
filmmaker.
made by a filmmaker.
He's a
Yes.
good, yeah. I mean, like, this is the most personal vision of anyone that has made a fucking like me, because it is a like because every time it comes up, it's like directed by such and such and whatever. And maybe they have a hand in writing the script, but they're not the only hand.
Right.
This is the
They're
first
a
time.
hired gun for the most part.
Right.
and
Like it's
this
but it's
seems
like this is like a writer director like from the ground up.
It could have opened up a film by Ryan Johnson.
Yeah. Was Finn wasted in this movie or not?
Yeah.
Would you say
I think it was.
he felt a little shortchanged?
Nothing he did, I felt, was like when he's going for his suicide run.
Oh my
and
god!
I'm
Worst
like
moment of the entire film.
at that
Yeah,
part.
worse than
Well,
worse.
when
I was tearing up when it happened.
That they interrupted it is the worst part of the entire
Well,
film.
when he's going on a suicide run, my first reaction was like, oh, is this his moment? Like, did he learn something? Is this a culmination of something that I wasn't paying attention to? Like,
I think
it kind of is.
They needed to take more care if they were going to do it, maybe inlay it with like some more stuff. Like if Rey was there, he was doing it to save Rey or something like that.
I think what clicked to me on other rewatches, and I agree that I don't think it's done necessarily super well. But the DJ character, I think, exists to show Finn,
to prompt
be like,
him.
hey,
Right,
this is what you could be if you don't pick a side.
And he says, no, I'm going to choose a moral path. Right?
And so that's why he kills Phasma, and he's like, I'm rebel scum, and that's when he kind of devotes himself, which I hated.
Well, I felt his whole storyline was just to build up to him fighting Phasma.
Okay, well,
do you guys think she's dead?
Are all of these
really? So. Yeah.
No, if they don't give a shit at this point, and they have devoted so little time at this point, then why in the fuck are they going to bring her back for a third try?
Right. Yeah,
so
and
Gwendolyn Christie.
Same thing with Snoke.
I think I talked about this with you guys.
We're just going to bring him back. That ain't happening.
Missed opportunity with Phasma. A lot of missed opportunities with Phasma, but like especially now that we see her helmet cracked open, like she should have been an alien. She should have been a weird
scar.
No, because if you're a Star Wars fan, you know that like racism and xenophobia is a big
part of the
outlier of the Empire. That's why Admiral Thrawn is kind of an interesting character because he's this alien that rose through the ranks of a super racist organization.
Right.
I thought that could have given Phasma something because she has nothing. She's just,
it's pretty paper.
She's a Mortal Kombat character. She's
she's like a reptile, right?
No, in the next one we're gonna get like purple Phasma. Like Phasma's back and now she's purple. Right.
So is Finn wasted in this film? I would say absolutely. And I would also throw on top of that, I love John Boyega. I don't even think that he's necessarily a super talented actor.
But he's damn good.
John, but he's very charming.
Likeable.
He's
very
really
charming,
likable. Yeah. And the fact that he gets through this film still being likable, given the shit that they put his character through,
is a
minor accomplishment. Yeah. I think that's kind of cool.
I think because his role in the first movie, I think, was kind of a giant red herring. Especially if you followed like the marketing of that movie, it was like, oh, John Boyega's our new Jedi Knight, you know?
Yeah, right.
So it's like they kind of used him as a red herring in the first movie, and then it's like, okay, he's still here.
We gotta do something.
What do we do?
Right. Let's send him to space, Monaco.
Yeah. How did you guys like Finn's line where he says, "They hate that ship"?
I loved it. Oh yeah, they hate that ship. No, I like its little. It's like
that piece of junk out of the sky. Maybe I was underwhelmed by Snoke and like what they did or explained to him. I love the fact that he was killed.
Yeah.
Yes.
I dug that fucking
scene. That scene is like maybe my favorite.
It was so
it's so good.
One little thing that could have saved that moment and maybe saved the character a little bit is like in his fucking pontificating bullshit, just one or two sentences about like, I've seen this before 5,000 years ago when they called me Darth Bob. You know, like just something. The problem with theory is that he's Plagueis. The fun fact, the thing is, like, you could still say that's the case.
Yeah.
Wouldn't affect this movie at all because of what happens.
Well, no, that makes it. In effect, it just makes it have a little bit more weight because it's like Kylo just kills this fucking guy.
But then it doesn't make. But then it doesn't make.
I'm top dog now.
Yeah. But then it still doesn't make sense because it's like, why would he call himself Snoke? Because like Sith Lords, they like their Darth titles, right? They like letting you know that they have the Darth title.
Instant messenger handle. You know, you don't give it away for free. Exactly. One of the things that I love about Snoke as a character, as lightweight as he is, I would say generally, is that his power. He does do the Force lightning, and he can do this, and he's got all these powers. But what
he was playful about it too. He's effortless.
Right. Yeah. He's very strong, I guess. Yeah. But the way that he accomplishes his goals is by abusing people.
Yeah.
By reading them and knowing what they're going to do and setting them against each other. He brags about it with General Hux, right?
Yeah.
Where he's like, look at this cur that I brought to my side. He's so useful. I love that his downfall, his hubris, is him reading Kylo and saying he's turning the blade.
That was so
he's
cool.
reading it wrong.
When he was doing it, he goes like, "Yeah, I am." Like,
he's turning the blade against his true enemy, is what he says. And you realize that he is literally reading his mind. Kylo is one step ahead of him.
Right.
And that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That was like, it was a nice little like magic, like sleight of hand, like magic trick that he was doing.
Oh, that whole sequence of events was fantastic.
Yeah.
And it was all because of Kylo and Rey.
That shot too where you see him kind of fall apart in the background is
I loved that.
Oh yeah.
And then they come back later, and then the legs fall off the ground.
Right, and then there's like again, it's a Star Wars movie. There's some shit that just happened. It's just super fucking badass.
Yeah.
Would we quantify? Would we classify? Is it fair to classify that moment as the lightsaber fight?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the lightsaber.
That's the lightsaber fight.
Yes.
I would say. Even though the guards were using what looked to be Cortosis-based weapons.
Fucking.
Thank you. I couldn't remember the name of it.
Cortosis is the name of the material.
Those guards were fucking were sick. Again, very samurai Kurosawa heavy.
I kind of wanted there to be like a goofy ass like Quentin Tarantino style like the dickheads, across the screen.
Like he does like a hard like zoom in, whatever. Starts playing with 70s funk and shit.
I'll say another missed opportunity. I know that I'm going to rant about like the fucking Knights of Ren and how they need to be in this movie.
They need to be.
They should have been his bodyguards.
Yeah. Yes.
And I think I probably would have.
But then they all would have got iced, and then you would have. That would have been all you get out of them.
Well, I don't care. I'm probably not going to see him in the movies at all.
Maybe they'll be up. Maybe they're holding back for 9, or maybe I just forgot about them. Maybe they forgot they created them, Scott.
Right.
I think Ryan
because
Johnson
Disney's in charge now,
so he didn't do it.
Right.
And that's kind of.
I think they don't really matter.
No, I think they don't matter. Just like they're just cool, and I want to see them.
That's the problem. That's the problem with some of
for me as well.
He speaks for me too. I want to see them too.
That's the problem with some of the criticism of this movie, though, is that people wanted this empty badass stuff to happen that I don't think thematically.
Some of that is okay though.
I disagree, but I think they got it. It's just not in the.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah, we are definitely not the people who are bitching about this movie.
No.
But I think some of the complaints I've seen has been like, Luke doesn't even use his.
Again.
There's one more movie left.
And again, it's one of those things where I'm just like, I would have liked it, but whatever.
I think the thing with
I don't
Knights,
give a like. I've never given less of a fuck about the problems of a movie because it by and large works for the most part.
I would say by and large, yeah.
We get to this final thing. I love the fucking look of Crait. I love the red. It looked really cool. Everybody's bitching about the fact that it's like guys like, oh, it's salt. It's like, like what are we complaining about right now?
I just
like,
love that whenever a shot was fired, it looked like somebody exploded.
The whole planet made me want velvet cake.
No, but like, and then so we set up for this confrontation, and it becomes personal.
Yes.
Luke comes back.
Yes.
Holy shit!
Incredible.
That scene with Leia and Luke
that was
floored me. Like that starts the sequence of scenes where I'm weeping like a fucking insane person.
That's the moment when I go for my second viewing where I'm going to really buckle down and try to pay attention because I was just so lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even. You're getting what they were saying wasn't registering to me because I was just like,
Right.
He has that line which I know
nobody's ever fully
no one
lost.
has ever really gone.
Oh my
loved it.
Which
God.
He's referring to Kylo, but knowing Carrie Fisher dies makes that.
Oh, I think he's
really
also referring explicitly to Han Solo.
Oh, that too. It's kind of a double
he's
thing.
handing her
But
the,
she says my son is gone.
Yes.
She says, no one's ever true.
Yeah, and we finally. What did you? Because to me, that's the lightsaber battle. To me,
you think
really,
so?
that's because but it makes it interesting because again, it's like Ryan Johnson was like, I'm gonna fucking make like a really like super tense lightsaber battle where they never make contact once.
Now that you mention it, I 100% agree with you.
Which is fucking killer. That astral plane Luke, I was cool with. It's a fun idea.
One of the highlights of the.
And if it's a power that somebody's gonna have, it's cool that Luke has it. Like, I like that. I like that they showed the breadth of progression and his abilities. Where like when he does reconnect, doesn't he just like rip that fucking hut like off out of the earth?
Yeah. Right.
Like,
yeah. No. He's holding back the entire.
Yeah, and then we get the full breadth of his abilities at the end.
Yeah.
That was people need to shut the fuck up about that scene too because his mission was to buy time for everyone else.
Yeah.
And he did it.
Mission succeeded. Like it wasn't supposed to be. Yeah.
Dude, the layers of that scene because he is now in the Obi-Wan position.
Apparently Ryan Johnson.
He is now.
Yeah.
And he even does the one thing. It's obviously highlighted a little bit more, but he does the same thing where he like the camera comes in on him and he cracks that smile like Alec Guinness did right before when he realized like I'm setting things in motion that are gonna fucking take you down, dude.
Mm-hmm. And smile.
Right, and then it evokes Han, which is what Han used to say to him all the time. see you around, kid.
Yeah.
I was just like,
Which
he just like salted him.
Yeah.
I didn't even.
Hard.
Yeah, I totally forgot about
Well, that's because he was an assault plan.
I interpreted it as like I fucking love that like Luke.
If you love red
Like
energy.
we are not here for redemption anymore because everybody was like leading up to this. Is Rey gonna go dark? Is Kylo gonna go light? I like that we're not
They
here
kind
for
of
that.
like they solidified.
I like that Luke is just like. Nope.
Well,
nope. And then the see around kid might as well have been Sia in hell.
Right.
Like
right.
Well, but I do think there's kind of room for redemption. It's just not Luke's. He's not going to be able to do it because, as he says to Leia, no one's truly gone. But right before that, he says, I can't help him.
Right.
Which kind of implies maybe Rey can help him.
Right.
Also, Rey steals the Jedi books at the end. Did you guys catch
I
that?
did catch that. I was like,
Yoda.
We didn't even know fucking Yoda.
Yoda straight up.
Yoda
was one of my favorite scenes, and Yoda straight up says that she has the books.
I know, it's really funny.
He alludes to
right, but does it in a way like has everything. She has everything that she needs.
It's knowledge that she doesn't already possess.
And then I will say this. This is probably, as far as this is the first Star Wars movie that I can think of where it thematically is all about one thing and it is completely consistent. And Yoda says it. He goes like, failure is the best teacher.
Yep.
And every single, like, no matter how convoluted whatever plot thread is, it is consistent in the fact that every single thing that every fucking character does in the movie fails in some regard, and either they either learn from that or are driven farther.
If I had to describe it in like the language of cinema, I would say that I have a lot of issues with this film's plot, but its themes and its exploration of themes is remarkably consistent and powerful.
Yeah.
I really like that.
So people are just mad that Star Wars decided to be about something. For
Well, a buddy of mine was bitching about the two sun scenes. Like he was going like, "Oh, do you get it? Do you understand?"
I thought it was,
Star Wars is always hitting you over the head.
I thought that was great.
It's the same as Luke at the end of Return of the Jedi when his dark suit flips open and it's light on the inside.
Yeah, the movie's about failure. It's about learning from failure. It's about uncovering the nitty gritty of heroism and that type of stuff.
line, "We are what they grow."
Oh my god,
that was my favorite part, and that also is in.
What the fuck are they gonna do
What's
about
next?
Carrie,
Yeah.
man?
Yeah.
They're all in there. Like,
I think there's gonna be a time jump.
What I hope they do.
It has to be.
it should be. Yeah.
I think they're gonna Spock her, like what they did with Leonard Nimoy in Star Trek Beyond. It's just like he died and then give like a ceremony or some shit.
Yeah.
But what I and my roommate,
You know that lady who could pull herself through time and space? Like, yeah, she's dead.
No, definitely, yeah. But well, I mean, with Uncanny Valley, let's fucking do this.
Yeah.
God, no. Please don't.
But
they already, thank God.
What my roommate and I hope for is when they release Episode 9 and they release it on Blu-ray or whatever, they talk to the writers and. I want to know what they originally had in mind, because Carrie Fisher was going to have a very large part.
It's like the original draft of Batman 3, the Nolan Batman 3. It did exist.
I think it's a flawed movie, but I think that some of the things that it strives to do and the things that it accomplishes are more impressive than most Star Wars movies, and so I'm willing to forgive it. I mean, whatever.
Star Wars has always been flawed.
Right.
No, that's coming from the guy with the tattoos.
Right. They've always, I mean, there are a lot of bad Star Wars movies. Like,
I
think there's almost
at least
as much
3 of them.
bad Star Wars. Yeah, it's good Star Wars. So I think it's kind of funny that the fandom is kind of turned into
well, that's fandom is toxic. If going to cons has taught me anything, nerds fucking suck. So
What was I telling you earlier, that fan is a shortening of fanatic?
Yeah.
And so that I think that inherently, if you are a member of a fandom, a fanatic is someone who is over-invested in something. Right?
Yes.
Someone who is missing the objective reality of the thing.
Right.
We are collectively the fandom. Like, we're all kind of Kylo. We're all like, fucking Vader's the coolest, man.
Right.
Fuck you.
I don't know. Okay, well, like, I guess we'll wrap it up. Basically, it was a elegant in parts, messy in others, but a really, I don't know, like, bold is something that you said before.
Bold's good.
Really, it's really trying to do something different. We all said, I remember going in, the only fucking criteria that I wanted to know is if it was going to be as slavishly adherent to the plot structure of Empire Strikes Back, and it is not that, and there is a lot to chew on with this movie. It's a lot more robust thing, like, and again, everybody, like, just have a fucking conversation about this thing. It's absolutely useless to sit around and say, this thing that you're so invested in and that you love so much, this universe that we've all accepted the warts and all, everything about this series. There's a lot to love in this. There's shit to be frustrated in. I just think that I'm just appealing for some measured and calm debate on the internet, which is a fool's errand.
Yeah, anyway, buddy.
Yeah. No, but I don't know. It's not. I don't know. I don't understand the everybody being so venomous.
My final critique on the movie from
let's
this guy.
go around.
Let's do a final thought.
Yeah,
final critique. Favorite parts.
My final thought is that I agree that it's messy, but I would rather take a messy, bold Star Wars movie than another safe Star Wars movie.
Yes.
And I think all of the themes really touch on a lot. We didn't even get into some of the Rey stuff that really connected with me. There's so much that it goes deep into that we're not used to in Star Wars movies, and that's exactly what I wanted it to be. So for me, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this movie it's messy and it's tight. I cried and I rolled my eyes. It's everything.
It's like a night out with me.
It's everything. Yeah. I mean, it's not. It's light and it's dark. I mean, it's a very binary kind of movie in both positive and negative ways. And it's just fun to go along and watch it. I think people are a little too vitriolic in their assessments of these movies.
Taking it too seriously.
Just fucking roll with it, dude. Just smoke a fucking fat ass J. Just fucking watch the movie.
Right.
It's fine.
Like, have fun. It's weird too, like the reflection thing, like when she's like snapping her fingers. That shit was awesome.
Oh yeah, that was.
I know they looked at like the weird They looked at the moment where Luke was fighting, himself, and then he sees himself in Vader or whatever, and they were just like, "Hold my beer, I'm gonna get really weird with this shit." Yeah. No, final thoughts. It's lovely. It's got this quaint purity of a point of view of like one guy that's kind of running the show, and that means it's very much Rian Johnson's film in the way that all of his idiosyncratic shit that I maybe not am as into in certain parts, but also some incredibly rewarding shit. And it's like it's pretty rad, man. Like I'm fine with it.
I enjoyed the film a lot.
Right.
I am gonna have to keep hammering that there's some really bad plot and structural and pacing issues with the film. That said, when it delivers so well that I found myself laughing, gasping, having a great time.
Yeah.
I think that the audience in this film is designed to listen to Kylo Ren when he says, "Let the past die, kill it if you have to." And that's like the film, like in a nutshell.
And that's what people hate about it, because they don't like being told to grow up.
It's very
Force Awakens is too much like the original. Last Jedi isn't enough like the original. It's like, just fucking, you don't know what you want. Shut up.
Right, exactly. No, absolutely.
I don't really have a whole lot more to add. I loved the movie. Everyone has said a lot of things I wholeheartedly agree with. So I'm just gonna flash my tattoos again.
Hell yeah, dude. All right, well, this is, like, we cracked champagne bottle on like a little discussion format. We're gonna keep doing stuff like this. We appreciate you guys watching. If you guys think that we're full of shit, which I'm sure some of you do, fucking tell us about it. If you think that we're right, which we absolutely are, tell us about that in the fucking comments too, man. Hit us up on Patreon if you want us to keep doing stuff like this. We really have a good time with it. I do.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love this. It's
sort of, you know what I mean? Like, we want to keep hanging out. We want to keep talking. We want to do different movies, more TV shows and stuff like that. So hit us up on the Patreon. Dude, thank you guys for hanging out.
Thank you.
Know what I mean? Like,
I think I ripped my shirt when I did that.
I know we've already gone through Thanksgiving, but I'm thankful that I'm kicking it with good friends and that we got a Star Wars to watch.
Yeah.
We got a new Star Wars.
Yeah.